Hey up everybody, my name's Joshua Morrison, director of Johnny Muz's Lessons in Confidence, and today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about how things can go wrong and how do you kind of work around them. So today I was just filming a video. I did a video about making a song, so it was a bit of a different kind of video. And this is meant to be the end where the lav mic goes, so you can see I've got this lav mic right here. What I did was I was wearing it, right, and I pulled it out of my phone because if you could see, they go into my phone, right? I pulled it out of the phone, then it was kind of dangling sort of down here, right? And I was sat down and I went to get up, so I pushed, which meant that the distance between my foot and where the lav mic was attached, which is up here on the upper chestal area, you see how it extends? So yeah, I have utterly fucked it, if you can tell. Here's the microphone on its own. Hello everybody. Yeah, great. You see? Also, I've fucked the base plate on my tripod. This camera that this is being recorded on now, the base plate for connecting things to a tripod head like this. There's a sliding plate. Yeah. Now I've threaded the nut on the inside, or however you describe it. So yeah, I've had to buy a new one of those, which is 20 quid. I'm gonna have to buy a new one of these, which is 50 quid, so that's 70 quid. So you can make expensive mistakes, and you want to try and avoid those things, but these are things that come with the natural wear and tear. Like, this was genuinely quite irritating, but the thread on the base plate of the Canon, my camera, I can't be too annoyed at it, because look, I bought this camera coming up on 4 years ago now, and this camera's been all over the country, it's been all over London, and when I carry it, I basically just carry it on the tripod, and then I hold it either by the tripod, kind of like this, like a machine gun, like a minigun, or I kind of over my shoulder like a hobo. Neither of these ways is particularly standard for these kind of cinema cameras. It's not really recommended that you do it like this. I haven't actually damaged the screw at all. The screw's completely fine. It's just the thing on the inside is completely threaded. And I always feel like, because there's two things on the inside, right, that you can screw things into. I've only had one in. As you can see, there's only one on this, right? But if I had two, I feel like it would have more connection points and more, because it's quite a large camera. This isn't like a mini DSLR. This is a big, bulky camera. I feel like if you had more, you would be able to work with it a bit more, because you would have more area covered with connection points. So, as you can see, things are kind of going a little bit wrong, and these are things that are going to happen. Things will go wrong in your journey as a creator. Sometimes you'll have more resources, sometimes you won't have as many. I don't have a tripod. Well, I do have the tripod, but I can't use the tripod at the moment. So for all intents and purposes, I don't have a tripod at the moment, right? Which meant I had to work around things. So if you see, this camera is literally just on that. It's just going to be placed down here, okay? Back there, and back I come. So you can see, I don't have nearly as much in the way of resources as I had before, but sometimes I had more resources than others, and other times I have less resources, and that'll be the case for you as well. You know, sometimes you got money, more money than usual, so you use that money to buy something that is useful to you. Sometimes your laptop's broken, so you don't have a laptop. You know, sometimes your camera doesn't work, so you just got to use your phone. Sometimes your lav mics won't work, so you're going to have to resort to just using the thing on your phone, or you have to figure out some other method of doing it, or you have to buy some really cheap, crappy one off eBay or something like that. Sometimes you are going to come into challenges, and it's up to you as an endurance master of your craft to get through these challenges and overcome these hurdles, and to make the most of them, because, you know, I feel like this video is made more special by the fact that I have lost some resources because of my own stupidity and just overall wear and tear. You know, these things are going to happen, and it's up to you to figure out your own ways of dealing with them. You know, I've ordered a new base plate, so that's coming on the 7th. So come Friday, I believe, or sorry, Thursday, you're going to start seeing videos with the tripod again. So standard videos will kind of continue from there. For now, I'm using the Canon 6D sometimes as well, which is, it's not quite as good quality because it's a DSLR compared to this, which is a Super 35 Cine. I actually, do you know what I should do while I have this opportunity is I should do a review of the camera. Yeah, I'll do that at some point. And anyway, I think the lesson I want you to take away from this video is that, you know, you'll always come into hurdles, you'll always come into issues, and it's just up to you to just work around them. Because if you go on any of your favorite creators' pages or YouTube channels, or look at their discography, their filmography, etc., there'll be some albums or videos or films or whatever where they had more of a budget, they had more resources and stuff like that. And it was more of a professional high-end product. And then you'll have other ones which are more scrappy and more lo-fi and more down to earth, and where they have less resources. And it's not necessarily that these ones, the professional ones, are always the best ones. Sometimes these are the better ones. Sometimes the conflict of not having the resources to be able to tell your story sufficiently makes your story more interesting as you try your best to scream in space when no one can hear you, and just go forward and actually just create stuff. No matter what you've got. You might not have a Super 35 Cine fucking camera. You can get them on eBay for fairly cheap, but you don't have to. You can use your phone. The phones are brilliant. If you want to use a lav mic with your phone, I'm sure there's a way of figuring it out. I haven't bothered. And if there isn't a way of doing it, then you can get these really tiny, cheap little shitty cameras off Amazon for like 20 quid, or you can get some knockoff old phone from the cash converters or something for like 30 quid. And you know, or take one of your old phones and just use that for the camera, or something like that. Or even hell, just borrow your roommate's phone or your parents' phone or whatever, just for that like space of time where you use it. Because yeah, you're not always going to have the resources to do stuff. And if you let that get in the way of your creativity and your flow state, then you will get down on yourself about your lack of ability, despite the fact that it's not anything to do with your ability, it's your resources that are the issue. You can make a masterpiece for £0, and you can also make absolute garbage for millions. So is it about finding a middle ground, or is it about finding your overall comfort zone? Or is it about being flexible with what you're given? Because sometimes you'll have the resources and sometimes you won't. Sometimes things will work in your favor, sometimes they won't. That's the game of life. And if you play the game of life, you keep playing it and playing it and playing it and just rolling the dice at the next project and the next project and the next project, and seeing what works, seeing what doesn't, you will learn your craft and you will improve by doing rather than studying the theory. Because look, I think if you've watched any of my other videos, you've probably figured out by now that I don't know theory or anything like that. So I am not preaching education, I am preaching for self-learning experience. I'm advocating for you to go out and experience these things rather than to learn about them and then go and experience them, because you get so much more fulfillment just rolling through life as fast as you can. That's the way that I like to do things, and when I don't do things that way, I look up at a version of myself that does do things that way or used to do things that way. You know, for the past couple of years, I wasn't making nearly as much stuff as I do now. You know, I wasn't making 2 videos a day. I wasn't, you know, pumping out albums or films or anything like that. I kind of didn't do very much, you know, and that got me down, because that's sort of me, and I need to create stuff in order to feel right and fulfilled and so on, and stuff like that. So you kind of come to a point where you find your comfort zone, and then you push at the boundaries, you carve a space out for yourself, and you use that space to create works of art or music or film or whatever is in your wheelhouse, and whatever you like, and let it be you. Let everything about it be truly you, down to a T, because you're a way more interesting person than you think you are. You're a really fascinating individual, even if you get down on yourself, even if you think, you look back at awkward conversations where you didn't really have much to say with someone that you didn't really know, and you kind of think, oh God, I'm a terribly uninteresting person. You're not. And if you give yourself the chance, you will see that you're not, and that you're way better than you might think. So yeah, the overall takeaway from this, I think, is don't let your limitations conquer you, conquer your limitations. That's going to be all from me today. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Have a great rest of the year. Yeah, Christmas period's coming up. We're going to keep working at the Johnny Mozza film, and things are going to go well. So thank you all so much for watching this. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.